Hello and welcome to video number 4 for our technique takeaway series. In this video we're going to talk about string bending, the types of string bending and how to achieve a proper string bend. I'm the guitar coach, my name is Richard Hillier, and I coach students from beginner all the way up to advanced levels, playing live, playing with a live band, and performing to an audience. So, string bending. What is string bending? So, it's a way of changing the note, manipulating the note by bending a string, okay? So, pretty simple, okay? It's easy to understand. Where we're going to start is in the middle of the neck on around about sort of fret number 8 here. The reason why we're playing on the middle of the neck is on the low part of the neck it's going to feel a bit harder down here because it's tighter and closer to the nut, and at this end it's going to be a little bit easier. So we're going for middle ground, okay? I will say that you do want to practice in the low part of the neck as well, and also you want to practice at the high part of the neck. You want to get really confident across the whole of the fretboard, okay? So what I'm going to show you today is just the different types of string bends and how we can apply them. So string bend number 1 is a quarter bend, okay? Now this is a hard bend to try and find because this bend does not exist on the fretboard, okay? It's like a microtonal bend which is just ever so slightly sharp and off pitch. They use a lot in blues, and we're going to do fret number 8 and we're just going to push it ever so slightly. So now what you want to do to get correct technique with this, thumb goes over the top of the neck, fingers lock in place, okay? Now I use finger 3 for the bend, finger 2 and finger 1 are right up behind that finger for support, okay? So, and a very slight push, okay? Just a very slight push up. It's a quarter bend. As I said, we can taunt piano players with this because they can't achieve that note. That note does not exist. It's sort of in between their white and their black notes, okay? So, ever so slightly. And where it sounds cool, just as an application for you, is like if you do like a bluesy lick, so it sounds really cool just to push those notes slightly off pitch. I do it a lot in my blues playing, so it's just a really cool thing to do. So just slight sort of quirk to the note, slight little bend to the note, but that's the quarter bend, okay? Now it gets a bit easier now. Even though we're pushing up harder, more effort applied, we can actually hear the notes now, okay? So we'll stick with note number 8 because that's a good one on the high E string. What we're going to do now is we're going to play the note above, so note number 9, so fret number 9. And then we're going to push 8 up to the pitch of 9. So play 9 for the reference. And we push the note up as we bend the note. So remember, lock the fingers in place, thumb over the top of the neck, use the wrist. All of that motion comes from the wrist. There's a contact point here on the fretboard underneath here, and that's the contact point. And we just we come round, and as we come round, we lift the string up. Okay, so half a bend from 8 to the pitch of 9. Here's 9, so you can hear the sound, and then bend to that. Now we stop when we get to that pitch. Just a couple of little tips. Try not to bend up slowly unless that's required. So try not to sort of go, because it doesn't sound good for bends, okay? What does sound good is to be really confident and hearing that note, getting straight up to that note, okay? So being really, really confident. Okay, so that's the half a step bend. And then we've got the full step bend. So we're just going up further away basically from the note where we started. So fret 10 now is going to be a full step bend away from fret 8 here. And that's 2 frets, okay? So 2 frets distance from a note below it will be a full bend. So if I'm on fret number 8, if I want to do a full bend, it'll be 2 frets higher to hear that note, okay? Push that string up until you hear that pitch again, okay? So that's good. So there we go. Now, it's as far as I'm going to go today, but as you can imagine, there's notes beyond that point. You can do 1.5, and you can do a 2-step as well, which is really cool, and you get this very Dave Gilmour-esque sound. If I could show you very quickly, so there's some real cool sounds to be had there. Like sounds very sort of like well music to me, but it sounds so nice. And with a little bit of overdrive, it's going to sound really, really good. But just for today, as I said, these are technique takeaway tasks. Just be really simple. As I said, if you can apply the simple information, get the technique really solid, then progressing with your playing forward is super easy. Once you just get those foundations right, progressing forward with bends is super easy. All those advanced bends I just showed you there, so the double tone bend and the 1.5, they're much easier once you've got the foundation of the bends and the technique correct, okay? So just to recap, don't push up with your fingers. Use the wrist to get underneath that note and sort of push up. use the wrist, and the contact point is just on this edge of the finger on here, and it's just on the underneath of the fretboard, and you're going to swing round and push that note up until you hear, use your ear until you hear the desired pitch, but make sure it's not a very slow and steady gets to the note, it's actually really confidently up to the note, okay, unless that's what's required. Some tracks, like a blues track, might require you to play like that, but otherwise go with the general rule of get to that note nice and quick. Other things to consider is you can add vibrato to your bends, so you can bend a note and then add vibrato, but I am going to do this as one of the techniques in the next video. So yeah, just to show you what that sounds like, you're wavering the note, okay, and I will look at that in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Pop along and see video number 5.